Well, I must admit at this point, it never ceases to amaze me how many problems can be solved by a few new contracts because we got to the point where the team was starting to divide. We had five or six rather than two or three asking for new deals. So we've upped the wage structure slightly. We've got it all sorted before January. And since then, in most competitions, we've been in pretty good form. We've got two tough games in the top eight in the next 3 days, though. And this is where it could all go wrong and a title race could start to unfold. Yes, hello, and welcome along to part 114 of Saving Southend with me, Daniel. We are back today to face 7th and 8th, but all of the top 8 are separated by 8 points. A lot of 8s in there. It is Aston Villa, managed by Zinedine Zidane for the second time in this save. And then Manchester United, just 3 days later, was still struggling under Arne Slot, but he has not lost his job despite their decline down the table. There's also a lot of sides in close contention behind us. It is a bit tight, but we are the best of the bunch at the minute. So hopefully that will continue. And we can also find our form elsewhere because going out of the Carabao Cup has arguably helped us in the Premier League here. If you're looking forward to seeing how we progress today and seeing how many new deals we've offered out, then please do put a thumbs up on it. For now, though, we're going to start with the schedule because since you were here, we've lost one, we've drawn one. And then largely, we've taken advantage of that easier run we talked about, which ends today with 3 tough fixtures. So you were with me as we drew at Everton and drew against City in the Carabao Cup, losing on penalties in a game we dominated. We then nicked a 94th minute 1-0 win against Chelsea, again in a game we were the better side. Jude Sadler did have to make a couple of saves in fairness, but Ashley Carr delivered the moment. He's not scored many since then. I think only 2, both in Europe or no, against Bristol City as well. Against AIK, we won comfortably against a side we should have done. We went 1-0 down though before 2 own goals got us back ahead before the break. Sanchez, Vasquez, Casey Worcester getting his annual goal and Kivrakidis with 1 apiece. Away at City in the Premier League, I'd argue probably our best performance of the season so far. A great victory with Joe Wills getting 2 and Kranic getting 1 to make us comfortable at a break. No real let up in the second half, like we saw against Juve the month before. Then though, we were poor against Spurs after the international break. Lewis Herbert, the skipper, had to bail us out with a header from a set piece for a 1-1 draw. Adamson got injured in that one, but he came back against Brighton last week. We then beat Roma 6-0, probably one of the worst sides we've faced this year. I was really surprised by them. Got some good players in the team, but have fallen into that Italian trap, or the old Italian trap, of getting a slightly older squad in that maybe couldn't cope. So Jimenez, 2 for Ivanov and 1 apiece for Robertson and Carr with an own goal was enough. Away at Sunderland, a 3-0 victory thanks to Kranic, Wills and Robertson. Against Bristol City, a 5-3 victory. A very bizarre fixture that. Wills, Kranic with 2, Herbert and Ashley Carr 1 apiece. Then against Southampton, it was Teddy Ivanov with a brace off the bench to save the day. Him and Carr came on and made the difference, it must be said. They couldn't do so from the start against PSG though. A poor performance, an early goal from a player we looked at signing a long time ago. Unfortunately, we didn't get him, and he came back to haunt us in that one. We did though get a 2-0 win against Brighton, an early and late goal from Dion Kranic. And now we go into a run of 4 games over the festive period, 3 of them at home and 2 of them against very tough opposition. So let's see how we get on as we start against Villa today. I've made the decision for this little run. I'm not going to rest people out of principle. I'm just going to do it as and when people get knackered. So I'm not going to try and be clever. I'm not going to try and be tactically astute. We're going to aim for winning 3 out of 4. And if that means I have to rest a few against Newcastle, so be it. Let's go and get through to the fixtures via the squad screen so you can see just how many new contracts there are. Pretty much everyone is tied down now. Roy Curley is only 2 years, but it is a new deal. And if we go further down from that, we've not gone bonkers on the fees. The highest paid player now is up 30 grand from what it was before. So it was Bernberg on 135, now Kranic on 165. In addition to that, we've got Kivrakidis 150, Carr 145. He threw his toys out the pram as soon as he hit form. Luis Vasquez 140, Memic 135, Herbert 100, Wills 125. I think that's all the new deals. But yeah, there were a few of them. The only one who wouldn't sign one at the moment was Jude Sadler, but that's because he had interest in him, which he doesn't now. So I wonder if he'd be willing to discuss terms as well. Let's have a look. We'll offer him the first choice goalkeeper role. He said important terms. Why can we not offer him that deal? Are we over our wage budget? Well, isn't it a good job? We've got plenty of money to spend. We're going to up that. We'll get Jude Sadler a new deal. We'll be back in a minute to run through our 11 for today. Well, Jude Sadler has agreed to a deal for 120 grand a week, so that should solve that problem for now and give McNaughton a couple of years to develop and reach his prime. He will be the first choice by the end of this save. I'm determined. The only big surprise from today's lineup is we've rested Jimenez. He is the only one who I feel we'll need for midweek, who has got a really heavy match load, and I just don't want him to break down. He's so important. And I said we'd only rest people when they got to the position we had to. Jimenez has played more than virtually anyone, because where we've had the wingers injured, we've had others covering out wide. He even played on the right once. So not the most ideal scenario. However, we've got most of them back now, and that means the squad is strong. The only one with a heavy match load in a starting lineup is Wills, but there was a substitute appearance in that and one where we were able to take him off early. So the minutes load is not that much, just 155. Does mean that this is our 11 for today with Sadler in goal, Gomez and Carlos, the two fullbacks, with Rakowski alongside Herbert as centre-half. Rakowski missed last week. He went on a little holiday. He was absolutely cream-crackered, but he's flying now. Robertson and Adamson returning from injury out wide with Bernberg and Kivrakidis in the middle. And then up front, it's Dion Kranic and Joe Wills, both with new contracts, but one in flying form. In Joe Wills' case, no goal in 3. A bit of a crisis by his standards. Let's see if he can address it today. Well, here we go. Aston Villa, a side that you've seen us have many a problem with in this save, but largely under Jose Mourinho before he retired. Desiree Doué, a player we briefly managed in the head coach. Julius Thiel, one of the best left-backs in the world who we've tried to sign before. The same for Merlo at centre-half. And Kennedy up front always seems to find a way against us. No sign of Adowu anymore. I wonder if they've let him go. Washington on the bench has scored his fair share against us too. So let's ask the lads to prove a point. Let's get into the first half. It is all about the home form here. We're picking up results against the bottom half away. And after those draws earlier in the season, like the game against Liverpool, like against Spurs, if we can just find a way to win these ones, puts us in a great position. You can see today in the Premier League, awful lot of draws earlier. Liverpool and Arsenal did win, but City were held. Chelsea beat Manchester United. There were a few dropping points as we lose the ball early on the right-hand side there. In a quiet 15 minutes, but we're camped in their half. Herbert finds Berberg and now Carlos. Down the line to Adamson is the option, but he goes alone. Now he finds Adamson. Was that a foul? It looked outside the box. To be honest, I think he'd get away with one if something's given here because it just went out for a goal kick. I think this will be a free kick at best. Let's have a look. There you go. Free kick to Southend United. Now can we make it count? Because they'll be relieved it wasn't a penalty. We want to make them hurt. It's Kivrakidis in. There's the header. It's off the line. Great save, Lima. Wonderful goalkeeping by the Villa number 1. With 20 gone, look at the stats. It is a dominant start. But the one thing I will say recently, bar a couple of Champions League games in Bristol City, we've not been scoring bundles. It's been 2-0s most of the time rather than 3s and 4s. And we've had to wait till late a few times as Garvey brings it away. We just need a good defensive display here as Bernberg finds Herbert. Bernberg's giving it away right on cue. Why do I even say these things? Garvey gets in. Good touch. Good turn over the bar. I really don't know what to do with him, Bernberg, honestly. He's playing well today, but he flatters to deceive a lot for the best player at the club. As Adamson finds him here, can he turn it on the style? Here goes Carlos. Back to Bernberg. Oh, he might have given it away again. Herbert really saves him there. It's out to Rakowski, who can switch the line of attack. Here comes Gomez down the right. Robertson's there. Into Wills. Brilliant football. And the goal drought is over for Joe Wills. Into double figures for the season. And Robertson, a lovely bit of footwork there. He is doing really well in his second season. It's a good job as well because Yukulano's barely been fit. And we're 10 to the break. We're dominant and we deserve our 1-goal lead. Well, there we go. At half-time, Villa have barely had a sniff in truth, but it is only 1-0. And we've been in this situation an awful lot recently. 1-0 at half-time, 2-0 at the end. But we've been in this position against Villa before and lost 3 or 4-1 several times. So hopefully Zidane's not going to do what Mourinho did to us. And we're going to be able to just enjoy the rest of this one. It's been a quiet start to the second half. It's not been an absolutely spectacular display. Our expected goals is only just over 1. But it is a display that so far has been pretty comfortable, and I'd like it to stay that way. With games in 3 days, we're going to look at subs now. Adamson is still working back, so Vasquez for him. Kivrakidis has been alright, but I'm going to bring on Torres. Kranic knackered, Ashley Carr on. Might do Wills as well in a minute, but we'll leave it for now. And I think we'll just go 5 more minutes before making the final 2. Because while we do want to think about United, we don't also want to harm this game. And the rest of the players are doing really well. As Herbert up to Wills, flicked on, Carr can't get there. And Merlo will bring it forward. He is short for a centre-half, Merlo. The main reason we didn't get him in the end. As Vasquez goes back to Carlos. Just don't do anything silly while playing at the back. Sadler looks to the right. Gomez is there. Can we now break forward? We've done that really well this game, switching the line of attack. We've also had a few misplaced passes. Those individual errors, they're not out completely. As Robertson back to Bernberg. Now Wills. This is lovely. Big switch of play to Vasquez. Here we go down the left. He's happy with his new deal. He's got to the byline. Into the back post to Ashley Carr. And the commentary says it all. Oh dear, what a miss. Not the first time that's been said about Ashley Carr. And now Bernberg and Wills are knackered. It's going to have to happen. Though I haven't got a sub for Bernberg, have I? I can push Rakowski in, but I don't really want to change the back 4. So I'll take Joe Wills off for Teddy Ivanov. And I might even just save the last one because there's no point us risking going down to 10 or having an injury. I just want to get the job done as Merlo finds Douay. This game is not over for as long as it's 1-0. And Merlo's trying to change that here. Finds Jorge, and now we're camped in our own half. Drill down the line. He's a brilliant player, this left wing back. Into the box it goes to Kennedy. Good header away, but then Gomez misses his. Wood cuts inside. Back to Douay from distance and over. And that's made my decision for me. Gomez and Carlos are struggling. Gomez is going to come off for Memic. We need the better defensive fullback on here. We need the taller one who can deal with the back post threat. And I think that's the strategy we're opting for. You can see Villa are pushing late on here. Either we're going to nick one on the counter as Carr's trying to here, or we're going to get caught out ourselves as Torres on halfway. Up towards Carr and Ivanov. That's poor. So's that though. Bernberg gets it back. A gift to us. Vasquez finds Torres. Ashley Carr's in. Was he onside? No, he wasn't. Of course he wasn't. He didn't score anyway. But with 90 minutes played, do I get the time wasting on? I think we might have to here. We're going to go support duty for Robertson. We're going to go fullbacks on defend for Memic and for Carlos. And Ivo Torres will become a deep line playmaker on support. As we just make sure that the job is complete. We're going to slow the pace down. We're going to play for set pieces. We're going to time waste and drop a bit deeper too. You all know the drill, but you'll all forgive me. It's not about being pretty every game. We've had our 5-3s, our 6-0s, our 9-0s against West Ham. Oh, what are you doing, boys? Clear the bloody ball. Jesus. We do not have that tactical instruction on. What are you doing taking liberties at this point? It's not about being pretty every week, though. We win 1-0. We deserve to over the course of the game. We rode the late storm out a little bit, but we've done all right. Do not get complacent, lads. Kranic, I need more from you next time. Let's get through to the second game of the day. It is Manchester United in 3 days' time. They're down in 8th place. They're having a poor year. And while we're not being vintage every week, we're finding a way to win. Let's see if that continues on Tuesday night. Well, it's fitness test time and Ryan Adamson should make it again. So let's go and get through to this United game. You can see Villa have got City, another big clash at the top of the table. But we're just doing enough at the minute and I want to stay that way. So let's see who's fit from the team we played at the weekend. Most of them, in fairness, are not far away. It's going to be Ashley Carr in for the tired Kranic. Bernberg will drop out for Jimenez. And in fact, I might not even start him. I might start Torres now. And go for the two of them like that. And then we're going to bring in Yucolano on the right-hand side for Robertson. Carlos out at left back for De Angelis. I think we should be all right with everyone else. It's just about who we put in the squad and who misses out on the bench. So I'm going to go for Roy Curley in place of Carlos. We're going to take Robertson out, are we? No, we'll leave it like that. I think that's fair enough. We've still got a centre midfielder on there. We've still got the width. We've still got the strikers. We're good to go. So the changes are De Angelis in at left back for Carlos. Torres in midfield. Kivrakidis moves over. Bernberg drops out. Yocolano on the right-hand side. He will replace Robertson, who drops to the bench. And then Ashley Carr in for Kranjic. Will he deliver his moment today? Let's go and get through to it. United at home. We've had mixed days against them before. They're not the team they once were a few years ago. They've still got a couple of the originals, but not as many featuring regularly. You can see this season, no Kobe Mainu, but they have still got Wirtz, Garnacho and Højlund. I don't remember Garnacho being there recent seasons. Has he been re-signed? I'm going to have to go and have a look. Let's tell the boys to prove a point. Let's go to United. Is Mainu still there? He is. He's just injured. But the one I want to know about is Garnacho. Has he come back to the club? No. Oh, he's just barely featured the last 3 or 4 years. What a weird scenario. No wonder he didn't play against us. Malo Gusto's there. They've sort of done what Liverpool did and assembled this really old squad that they've not got rid of. I wonder if financially now it's starting to cripple them because they've not sold them on quick enough. We experienced that ourselves last year in the head coach when we were managing United. And John Murtow just kept selling the youngsters to try and get money back in. But then you were left with this ever-aging squad of players that really were contributing less and less. As we go through the first 10 minutes pretty comfortably, I've said all of this, we'll probably lose 1-0 now. Let's see if we can get the first goal against United, because we're 20 gone, no shot on target. Well, free kick, we're 25 on the clock, our first chance to see a real attacking highlight, and to be fair, this does sort of paint the picture, doesn't it? At this stage, we've probably got a deeper squad than United. That's where the difference lies, as Kivrakidis puts it in. It's bobbling around all over. Sarpay with an awful header. Oh, you've not missed Joe Wills. You've not missed that. Oh, that goes in the sitter category, I think. That's a glorious opportunity. Gifted on a plate, assisted by United, and he doesn't make it count. And the morale's dropped a bit now as Kivrakidis finds Torres. Support down the line. He's got Yocolano in support in the wide area. Going to go alone and put the cross in, though. Adamson goes up, but so does Trubin. Just a wonderful goalkeeper in this year's FM. Becomes unstoppable for so many years. We saw that ourselves in the head coach, and we've come up against him enough times here to know it. As Gusto gets down the right to Wirtz, and now Sarpay, well nicked by Kivrakidis. We look fresher, we look better, but we don't look tidier on the ball. As Florian Wirtz breaks away to Garnacho, and Højlund, and Garnacho again. Why is he barely playing for them? Genuine question. He's been magnificent. We're going to have to throw a bit of encouragement because we're 1-0 down. And that has very much come against the run of play in the last 10 minutes. But despite our chances, we've not created an awful lot. Our best chance was made by a United error. As Yocolano on the right finds Gomez. Can we get the instant response? Support in the middle from Joe Wills. Drops deep and finds Adamson out on the left. Support in the middle from Ashley Carr. Can he find him? He can. And Ashley Carr heads over. I know he's had a good run at times this season, Carr, but I just never feel confident he's going to score. You remember a few years ago, as we might be playing against 10 now, Aguirre's been sent off for a foul on Will's second yellow. We had this situation with Mauricio, where he's a really good striker, as good as anyone else at the club. He just never felt confident he was going to score a goal. Now tell the lads to prove a point. I'm going to give them 10 minutes. But I think we're going to end up making wholesale changes and maybe just having to chase the game, because with 10 they can sit in now. And our job is to break them down as Gomez looks down the line for Yocolano. Good ball up to Ashley Carr. Can he turn provider perhaps? Down the right he goes. Yocolano making the underlapping run. Good football. Yocolano in. Jiff away. Gomez will get there. They can't get out. Torres back to Kivrakidis. Might require a screamer, but it's into Ashley Carr. He's missed another. Just hit the target at least. That's all I'm asking for you. Can you hit the target, please? It's a terrible effort, and with an hour gone, I'm not going to wait anymore. Yocolano off for Robertson, and those who are rested are coming back on. Vasquez for Adamson, both for the front two, Kranjic and Teddy Ivanov. And it's going to be Torres off for Jimenez as well, who seems to deliver on the big stage. Or do I go Memic, actually? Let's go Memic at right back for Gomez. Keeps picking up yellows, isn't playing that well. And I'm just going to demand a bit more, I think. We're not really getting a response we were hoping for. And at what point do I go attacking? I mean, I've generally seen it doesn't work against 10 men. We've got a corner here with Kranic, and an equaliser might make it better. Rakowski off the line, and look who's put the rebound in. But is he offside? Oh, I think he might have been. Memic, could he be the hero? The sub we almost didn't bring on. Goal awarded. What a sub that is. Memic scores the goal. One apiece. Do you know what? I'll take that result, even against the 10. But we are on the attack now with De Angelis, and we've got a chance to make it better. Good ball in. Robertson's there. Keeper's in no man's land. I praised Trubin the whole first half. And Jorg Robertson, another of the sub scores. Pandemonium at Steve Tilson Park. As Vasquez has a corner, it could get better. Rakowski's up. Herbert's up. It's over the bar. What a response that has been in the last 20 minutes. When you want your subs to make an impact. Boy, oh boy, have they done that here. 2 minutes plus stoppages to go. We're not going to time waste here. I don't want to invite 10 men onto us. I want to try and push forward. If we concede, so be it. Hoyland goes back to his goalkeeper. You can see they've left 3 at the back. If we win it, we'll have a 4-on-3. If we don't, we could be in trouble. As here is Milan on the right-hand side. De Angelis does well. Now don't do anything silly. Kivrakidis to Vasquez. This is the chance to counter. Kivrakidis over halfway. Inside to Torres. Support on the right. You've got to look the other way. Goes to De Angelis, who finds Vasquez. 4 in the middle. Poor. Really poor from Vasquez. But Kivrakidis wins it back. Vasquez has support. Goes alone. Finds a great cross. Kranic up. It's away as far as Robertson. Still 2 in the middle. Kranic is 1. Great save, Trubin. An offside against Ivanov. He wasn't even involved, was he? I mean, it doesn't matter in a grand scheme of things. It's 2 big wins today. 2-1 against 10 men. It made it difficult playing against a very deep block, but we made it count. We're going to say well done. We're going to keep the spirits up. Newcastle away might be tough because we're going to have to rest a few. But at the very worst, we should win 3 out of 4 now. We've got ourselves a 6-point lead at the top. If all else fails, the Carabao Cup's gone already. We've got a Premier League team in the FA Cup, and we've not been great in a Champions League. All else fails, we have still got the opportunity to win the Premier League again, and that is the bread and butter at the minute. Arne Slot is being very fair in his post-match press conference, but let's go and have a look at the schedule, because we have got a very busy January period coming up, and the end of it is pretty exciting in multiple competitions. We're on 10 points in the Champions League, so we should be fine for getting through. You can see United struggling in that one as well. But just in case we're struggling, we'll come back and show the Lyon game. If not, it'll probably be Arsenal and deadline day, maybe Liverpool and deadline day, maybe both if it's going to be a quiet window. But I would imagine 1 or 2 of those 3 games, plus transfer deadline day to follow. If you enjoyed this one, a really important 2 victories, not great to watch, but 3 points nonetheless, and good turnaround in the second game as well. And please do put a thumbs up on the video. We found a little bit of our defensive solidity again. We found a little bit of the morale. We've got the contract situation sorted. And I think the only way is up for the next few weeks. If you want to stay up to date and find out if I'm right, subscribe and turn that notification bell on. Let me know where you'd be looking to improve the squad in January. I might even see if we can recall Soren Hansen and sell on Drew O'Day. That's my possible contender for a January move. We'll see what's happened when we return for deadline day next time though. In the meantime, make sure you come and join us for the Coach's Head tomorrow, because it's an interactive episode. I'm going to need you to get involved and tell me what you would do, because I've got some big decisions to make and you guys are going to have to help me come to the right one. There's also links up there to the Twitch channel and a football podcast with loads of live streams and a new season of EFL Championship predictions on the way. But thank you very much for watching, for being here as always. 2 big wins. I'm feeling buoyant again now. We've got our Southend United team back. Let's hope it can stay that way. I'll see you next time to find out if it does.